The sudden drop in your stomach, the flush of heat in your face. When a peer insults you, or you catch wind of a nasty rumor, your body reacts instantly. We are biologically wired to absorb those words. We take the malice directed at us and pack it inward, carrying someone else's venom as a heavy weight on our own shoulders. This flowchart maps out emotional asymmetry. An attacker feels internal tension and offloads it onto you, the target. The math seems straightforward. The target sinks under the new mass, while the attacker rises, experiencing a fleeting, false sense of relief. But this standard model of emotional transfer gets the equation completely backward. What if the people actively trying to tear you down are unwittingly absorbing your deepest burdens, rather than adding to them? By looking closely at the mechanics of one specific ancient fable, we can see exactly how to take any form of criticism and weaponize it as a tool for our own salvation. The story begins with an arrogant king who wants to humiliate a peaceful saint. Instead of gold or grain, the king hands the saint a pile of horse dung as a donation. The saint doesn't flinch. He accepts the filth without a drop of anger, looks at the king, and calmly replies, "May it grow." By refusing to return the malice, the saint creates a psychological void. He rejects the intended emotional transfer entirely, forcing all that negative energy to remain exactly where it started, with the king. The next morning, the unresolved insult takes physical form. A massive, stinking mountain of dung appears overnight right outside the king's palace. This geometric model illustrates a psychological trap known as compounding toxicity. A single point of negative input doesn't fade. It exponentially multiplies into a massive structure. Unreturned hatred remains in the attacker's environment, eventually forming an inescapable cage around the originator. The stench becomes unbearable. The king grows desperate to escape the suffocating environment created by his own cruelty. He begs the saint for a solution, and the answer is completely paradoxical. The king must go out into his city in disguise and actively trick his own citizens into gossiping and speaking badly about him. The king does exactly that. As citizens begin to whisper and spread negative rumors, a strange thing happens back at the palace. The physical mountain of filth systematically begins to shrink. Every piece of gossip acts as a release valve, venting pressure from the king's self-created trap. But that negative energy doesn't simply vanish into thin air. It is actively transferred to and absorbed by the citizens doing the whispering. Public criticism operates as an involuntary distribution network. It pulls the heavy burden away from the focal point, dumping it directly onto the critics themselves. This karmic ledger visualization maps out the ultimate defensive strategy against modern detractors: negative karma transfer. You are the central node, surrounded by an inventory of your own personal burdens, or debt blocks. Here is the exact transaction at play. Every time a critic hurls an insult or spreads a rumor, they automatically remove a block of karmic debt from you, taking it on to themselves. There is only one way to ruin the transaction: reacting with anger. Retaliation instantly cancels the transfer and forces you to take your debt back. The fable illustrates an overarching law of human interaction. Whatever energy you inject into the system, whether it is the filth of hatred or the quiet warmth of calm gratitude, always returns to you amplified. True liberation comes from letting your detractors speak. By refusing to engage, you allow them to voluntarily carry your heaviest weights, leaving you debt-free to move forward.